Hey, what's up guys? ShaunSurgener here, and I have a super exciting video for you today. I just can't wait to talk about this, and that is how to go from living paycheck to paycheck to creating wealth for yourself. Like I said, I'm really excited about diving into this today because it's something that really speaks to me, and it's something that really hits home to me, and I know it's something that could provide a lot of value to you because if you are living paycheck to paycheck, you know how much it absolutely sucks being in that position. And believe me, I know. I lived it. It's terrible. Living paycheck to paycheck is something that plagues millions of people worldwide. And it leaves you working around the clock, feeling like you're in a hamster wheel, not getting anywhere. It leaves you anxious, stressed, and just fearful that like if something else happens or something major happens, it could put you in financial ruin. Like what if you lose your job? What if the car breaks down? And it's just, you're just in a constant, wheel of just spinning and working, and you're tired and you're stressed, and it's just not a fun situation to be in. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Shaun, and I am a real estate investor and real estate flipper. I am an entrepreneur teaching people how to turn their passions into creating wealth. And I didn't start out this way though. That's why I want to create this video, because when I first moved to Los Angeles, I had just finished undergrad. I was a pre-med major and graduated with a 4.0. And I moved to LA because I didn't find passion in being a doctor. I knew it made a lot of money, but I didn't have the passion for it, and I wanted to do something I was passionate about. So, the naive self of mine, moves to Los Angeles, and I'm going to build my dream life. And pretty quickly I got hit with the reality of real life, and that no one wants to pay very much. And I was stuck pretty quickly working all these different side hustles, living paycheck to paycheck, really stressed out, thinking like, what the heck did I do? Maybe I didn't make a very good decision here. What was I thinking? And I was left, stressed, anxious, fearful, and just not very hopeful of the future. But I knew something different was out there. I knew people were able to do what they wanted in life. And so I decided to make a change. I decided that I was going to learn anything and everything I needed to in order to get out of living paycheck to paycheck and to begin creating wealth for myself in a dream life, a lifestyle that I wanted for myself. And so there was 3 areas I realized I had to focus on. And that first area is, number 1, is financial minimalism. Learning to master your money, getting your money right. The second one was entrepreneurship and making more money. The third one was investing. So I began studying from the most successful people in all 3 of these areas. I was reading books, I was listening to podcasts, I was watching YouTube videos, anything I could get my hands on that would give me knowledge, I did. And I began creating a roadmap, or I guess a series of strategies that I put together on how I was going to do this. And I was able to. I went from $400 and no job to actually saving money, still making very little income. Actually, my first year in LA, I made $19,000 and saved $9,000 of it. And I have a link to that video below in the description box, so make sure you check that one out. And then I began saving. And then before I knew it, I began making more money. And then I began investing in real estate and getting passive income. Started doing some property flips. And I started creating wealth. I ended up saving over $100,000 in just a short amount of time. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the strategy that I took. It's not going to be an exhaustive every single thing, because this video would be hours long, but it's going to be a basic guideline and a basic skeleton map for you so you can do the same thing, hopefully. So like I said, there's 3 phases. We're going to go through all 3 of those, and we're going to kind of map it out. So the very first phase we're going to focus on is financial minimalism. I don't know any single person who hasn't created massive wealth for themselves who didn't learn to master financial minimalism. All right? And that is just basically learning how to live below your means and become a master of your money, of the money that you're making right now. If you don't learn to get your money right, you're just not going to build wealth for yourself. And that's one of the things I work on with my clients and things I talk to them about, is that you in your current situation have to learn to master your current situation before you even begin making more money and before you begin investing. Because if you don't have your numbers right now, you don't have your finances right, it's not going to get better when you make more money, and it's only going to get worse if you try to start investing. So financial minimalism, the very first place you start is number one. So this is the very first step, is you have to acknowledge the problem and you have to get in the right mindset. So like any other problem in life, any other issue you have, the very first thing you got to do is you've got to acknowledge the problem and admit that there is a problem. Okay, so if you're living in denial, you're not going to get out of it. If you're just trying to tell yourself, well, this is what's normal, this is life, people just struggle, then it's very unlikely for you to ever get out of your situation if you're willing to accept that. So the very first thing I tell people is that number one, just admit the problem. Deep down there's a problem. You know that you have an issue, that there's a problem at hand. So just simply admit it. It's okay. We're not saying whose fault it is. We're just saying that, hey, there's a problem here. And attached to this admitting the problem is you got to get your mind right. Because the other thing that doesn't work is you can't just say, yeah, there's a problem, but what's the point? I've been this way, it's been this way for years, it's not gonna get any better. How on earth, with my current situation, because I have this situation, this problem, it's never gonna happen. So you have to get your mindset right as well. So the very first step is, admitting there's a problem and getting your mind right. You can't create something positive from a negative situation. Okay, so you can't be coming into the situation negatively. Admit there's a problem, but then also tell yourself that, hey, this will get better and I am going to make a change. The second step is creating a budget. I don't know of anybody who has done very well financially who hasn't learned how to master budgeting. So the second step I tell people is after you've admitted the problem and you've gotten your mind right, you're coming from positive places, get a realistic view of your actual situation. So create a budget. So what you want to do is you want to go through and start listing every single expense that you have. I'm talking rent, groceries, gas, utility bills, car payments, car insurance, any insurance that you have, any bills that you have, subscriptions to Netflix, Hulu, HBO, whatever it may be, but you want to begin listing every single thing that you have, every single expense, and you want to itemize it. So just write everything down. Now some expenses are going to be pretty easy, right? Like your rent or your mortgage. That is very consistent. That is something that doesn't fluctuate each month. But there are some that do. Like let's say food or clothes. One month you might spend $400 on food, and then the other month you maybe ate out a lot and you're spending $600 or $700. Same thing with clothes. Maybe one month you didn't really buy anything, but then the month before that, you spent like $800 on clothes. I don't know. So for expenses like that, what I tell people is take at least 3 to 6 months of bank statements and add everything up and average it out over at least 3 to 6 months. The longer you can average it out, the more exact you're gonna know what that exact cost is. But like I said, go through every single thing that you spend money on and get a strong understanding of where your money is going. So that's step number 2. Now step number 3 is running your finances like a business. Now I've been around businesses a lot in my life, and I've also started some businesses. And the one thing I do know about business is if you don't know your numbers, you are going to be screwed as a business owner. You need to be knowing how much is coming in, how much is going out, and where it's going out. So as a business owner, your main goal is how do I increase revenue or like income, and how do I minimize expenses? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that budget from the previous step of how much we're spending, and we're also going to add in now, maybe at the top of the sheet, how much money that we make. Because we want to know like how much money are we actually working with here. So once you do that, then you're going to start analyzing, okay, I make X number of dollars a month and I'm spending X number of dollars. And you'll quickly see like, oh wow, yeah, this is why I'm not saving money. This is why I'm living paycheck to paycheck, because I'm only bringing in $3,000 a month and my expenses are $3,000 a month. Or even worse, maybe you find that your expenses are exceeding your income and that's why your debt keeps piling up. So what we need to do now is we need to start looking at how do we minimize the cost. This is what a business does. and your personal finances are very much a business. All right, so you are operating the business of such and such, whatever your name is. For me, it's Shaun, so I'm operating Shaun's business. Look at everything you spend money on and begin asking yourself, do I absolutely have to spend money on this? And if I do, then can I cut, let's say, 10% of that? Or can I minimize that cost somehow and get creative with it? But you gotta start running and looking at your personal finances as a business. Now, the third step to financial minimalism is creating what I call a wealth tax. So, and basically what that is a wealth tax is, think about it this way. When you earn your money and you go to work, you get your paycheck, good old Uncle Sam takes out taxes, and he takes out quite a bit. For some of you, it could be upwards of 40%. For some it's maybe 15%, but Uncle Sam is taking out those taxes. What we want to do is we actually want to create what we call a wealth tax. And that tax is a little psychological trick that I found when I started studying really wealthy people who are masters at financial minimalism and masters at saving money, is they do this psychological trick, and it's called a wealth tax. And what that is you basically tax yourself a certain amount from your paycheck, and that is the money that you're going to use to not only save, but you're going to use that money to actually begin creating wealth for yourself and investing it in the future. So the one thing I learned from super successful people financially is the reason that they're able to save is that they're very deliberate with it. Okay, so building wealth and saving money is not something that happens accidentally. You have to plan for it. So they pay themselves first. So let's say that you earn $4,000 a month and you decide that, you know what, I'm going to start saving 10% of my income. I'm going to stop living paycheck to paycheck, and I would love to save at least 10% of what I make. So that's going to be your wealth tax. That's going to be your paying yourself first. So what you're going to do is let's say you make $4,000 a month. You are going to take 10% of that, which is $400. And you're going to take that off the top. So you say I get $4,000 a month, I'm saving $400, and that leaves me with $3,600 a month to pay towards bills. And from there, then you start looking at that budget that you created and you begin placing the items underneath there. And this is going to force you to figure out where your priorities are. This is where you're going to be figuring out, like, okay, I'm going to have to cut bills somewhere, because if you're living paycheck to paycheck and now you said I'm going to save 10% a month, odds are now you definitely have more expenses than you do income. So now this is going to force you to save. Now, how much should you save? Well, that's up to you. And I have different video. I'm gonna have a different video for that, more about how you should save. But really just pick something that's realistic for you, something you can start off with. Maybe 10, 15% just to get started. Because if you're living paycheck to paycheck, odds are there's going to be a little bit of a transition for you. But I would say start with at least 10 or 15%. That's a good amount to start, to where hopefully one day you might have the chance of retiring. So this is the financial minimalistic portion, these previous steps. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start talking about the second phase of this whole thing, which is entrepreneurship and making more money. So as you begin mastering financial minimalism and all these things, you eventually are going to have to learn how to make more money. Okay? So financial minimalism, as we talked about, is really more of a behavioral thing. We think it's all about our income, but what I learned was that it really wasn't about how much I was making, because my first year I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was hardly making any money. But then once I began applying these principles, I actually began saving money on the same amount of income. So it wasn't so much how much money I was making, but it was just the mindset and the strategies I was using. But if you're really going to begin creating wealth, actually begin saving a decent amount of money and building that future for yourself, you have to get out of just financial minimalism and just saving money to actually learning to make more money. Because let's face it, all of us want to do better financially. We don't want to just live in a shoebox our entire life. So that's what the second phase comes into, entrepreneurship and making more money. The biggest thing I tell people with this is you want to find some sort of a skill set or some sort of a side business that you can create that will allow you to make more money per hour than you do at your current job. And you might be thinking, well, I don't really have a skill. I don't really have something that I do. I'm telling you that you do. Every single person has some sort of a service or some sort of a skill they have that they can provide to make extra money. If anything, then I know you have hustle and grit, and you just use some of your time. But in order to make more money, we have to give up some of our time, and we're going to have to do something a little bit differently. So really sit and think about, like, what is it you're passionate about? What's something that you have some knowledge in? You know, maybe you're really good at fixing up cars. Maybe you're good at doing, handyman stuff around the house. Maybe you're really knowledgeable on a certain topic about, like, fitness or food or finances or cooking or sewing, or, maybe you're really passionate about Pokemon cards or video games. Maybe you're like, hey, I don't really have a lot of passions or skills, but, I'm willing to work. And you can clean apartments or houses for people. You can house sit, you can babysit, you can tutor, whatever. But find a skill that you know that you can implement and begin doing something on the side on top of your job currently that'll help you earn extra cash. Get out there and start being a little bit of an entrepreneur. Now, some people are going to say, I know, I'm not an entrepreneur though, I just like working my job, and that's fine. I'm not saying that you have to start this massive company and become like the head of some major corporation. I'm literally just saying start a little side hustle. I mean, you could even go to garage sales and find items that are a good deal and then sell them online. There's in today's age and the internet and society, there's a million ways that you can earn a few extra dollars. And the whole point of this section is just getting used to making a little bit more money. So maybe if you earn an extra $100 a week, that's $400 a month, which is pretty close to $5,000 a year. I mean, think about it, that's a huge jump just right there. So find something you can do and set a goal for yourself. Make it $50 a week. Say, hey, I'm gonna figure out a way of earning $50 extra a week. And maybe that means that you clean someone's apartment once a week and you charge them $50. Maybe that means that or someone's house. Maybe that means that you find someone that you can babysit for a night out of the week, or you tutor somebody, whatever it is, but find a skill set and begin making just a little bit extra money and set a goal. Be specific with it and say, I'm gonna make this amount per week, and what does it take in order for me to do that? If you want to earn $100 a week, ask yourself, how can I earn $100 a week? So this part is really big. You want to learn how to create more money for yourself, because financial minimalism will get you so far based on your income. And financial minimalism is what helps you begin saving money despite your current situation. But in order to expand, we have to begin earning more money. We don't want to get stuck just earning minimum wage your whole life, or $30,000 or $50,000 or even $100,000. We want to continue to grow, because the more money that we can make, the more wealth we can build over time. Okay, like I said, saving money has nothing to do with your income, but your income is a catalyst to how much wealth you can build over time. So the more money we can learn to make, the faster we can save, the more we can save, and the more money we can spend to creating that pipeline, that financial dream, the passive income through investing. So, I spent a lot of time studying entrepreneurship and learning how to make more money from people who are very successful at it, and it helped me begin creating side businesses. At that time, I was, doing different jobs, just kind of making my money. And I began adding in other things. I knew I was really good with finance, I was really good with fitness, and I began coaching people and helping people get better physiques, helping people get better finances in order. And I began growing this side company, and what I didn't know is that it ended up becoming something that I did full time. And I began making more money doing that than I did at my other jobs. And that may or not be your case, but it's fine. We're just looking at making an extra little side income. So the third phase is investing. You are never going to get out of the rat race. You're never going to create a pipeline of passive income unless you invest. You cannot save your way to wealth, and you cannot earn your way to wealth. You have to invest your way to wealth. You have to have your money working for you. You only have so many hours in the day that you can work. And unless if you're like some superstar athlete or a famous musician or actor or someone who's just getting paid like millions and millions of dollars a year, you're probably never going to earn your way to wealth. If you're like the average person making minimum wage, 30, 40, 50 grand, even 100 grand a year, you're only going to get so far. if you're wanting to create a lifestyle of freedom where you can do what you want, whenever you want, with whomever you want, you're not gonna do it by just living very cheap. So investing is how you're gonna do that. When I started trying to figure out how to invest and what to invest in, I began starting by just educating myself. I'd go to the library every week and I'd check out stacks of books on everything I thought that would help me with investing. And this is what I tell my clients, this is what I tell people when I'm coaching them is, the first thing is you want to get an idea of what vehicle that you want to invest in. What sounds most interesting to you, what you might be passionate about. You know, and there's different options. You have stocks, you have real estate, you know, you can invest in businesses. But you want to get a handle of what kind of investment vehicle do you want to invest in? And there's a few questions that you want to ask yourself and you want to be able to answer. Number one is, how much time do I want to commit to my investments? Do I want something that I just kind of invest in something, I don't have to think about it, and then just kind of just check on it every once in a while? Do I want something I'm a little more hands-on with? Or do I want something that's really going to take up some time? You know, because that answer is going to determine what you do. How much risk am I willing to take? Do you want something that could earn you a lot more potential income and passive income, but maybe has higher risk? Or do you want to play a little more safe and want something that maybe doesn't earn as much, but I know it's a very safe bet? So you gotta ask yourself, how much risk am I willing to take? And also you gotta ask yourself, how much money can I realistically do at this moment? Because maybe you're okay with taking risk and you wanna like make a lot of money with it, and you maybe wanna buy a business because that's really good because you can earn a lot of money investing in businesses. But the thing is, maybe you need $50,000 to $100,000 and you're like, I don't have any money. I only have $500, I only have $1,000. Well, that also changes what you can invest in. So figure out what it is that you can invest in, what you're passionate about, and then begin educating yourself on it. So the education part is absolutely huge. So if you don't know what you're investing in, you can, you know, ignorance is not bliss in this situation, guys. Like, this is one of those things where you can get by with not knowing things in some areas of life, but investing, if you're investing in things you don't know about, it can really mess you up financially, and it can basically destroy all of the hard work you've done up to this point, and you can lose all your money. So you want to make sure that you are really knowledgeable. So go get out there, read books, listen to podcasts, watch videos, and learn everything you can about the vehicle or the avenue which you want to invest. For me, it was real estate. I loved real estate because for me, it was tangible. I can see it. It was something that I knew I had more control over, as opposed to maybe stocks. Stocks are great, but for me, it's like I don't make the decision on what, a certain company does and what kind of product they release. For me, I knew that, hey, if I buy a rental property, I'm the one in charge. I'm the one that gets to decide like how well I keep it up. I can make decisions on how nice I keep it. I can make decisions on how much I want to charge for rent. And I just liked the control. I also liked that it was a tangible asset. I could drive to it. I could see it. I could touch it. As opposed to stocks, where it's just kind of like numbers. But these are all great investment vehicles, and they're all things that you can do to create massive wealth. But understand that until you start investing, you will never create massive wealth for yourself. But anyways, these are the strategies that I use. This was the kind of the blueprint skeleton of the stages that I went through in order to start creating this. And it's what took me from simply living paycheck to paycheck, feeling lost, angry, confused, upset, like just did not know what my purpose or passion was, to actually going from paycheck to paycheck to I started saving a little bit more money. I started earning a little bit more money. Like I said, my first year I made $19,000. I saved 9 of it, which was fantastic. And then the next year I ended up earning, I think, somewhere around like $40,000. And I began saving even more. And then I made a little bit more. And after a couple years, I made my first real estate investment, and then began investing in more in real estate. And I began doing property flips. But these are phases that you go through. And so what I suggest to you is, follow these steps. This was not an exhaustive list, but at the same time, it's a really good guideline and blueprint for you to get out of living paycheck to paycheck and to begin building wealth for yourself. I hope this helped you. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. It would mean the most to me. I hope it provided value for you. But if you liked this video and you're wanting more videos on how to build wealth, how to find your passion, how to escape the 9 to 5, how to create passive income, how to create the life you've always dreamed of, subscribe to this channel. I'm gonna be pumping out a ton of content regarding these situations because that's my passion. My passion is creating the life I've always wanted and helping others and creating an impact for others so they can do the same, to put you in the driver's seat of your life so you get out of that rat race of the 9-to-5 hamster wheel. Or maybe you're okay with the job. You know, maybe like, hey, I like my job. I love it. I just want to make some extra money. I want to build wealth. That's totally cool. And I can help you with that. And this channel will help you with that. But it's just teaching you how to find the job that you want, how to begin saving money, and how to build wealth. So please subscribe to this channel. Leave comments below with any questions that you have over any of these phases. If you're stuck, leave a comment below on what you're stuck on. I'll try to help you out. Leave comments about how excited you are. Maybe you have a certain strategy in one of these areas that you found really helps. Leave them below. Share your knowledge. Share the information that's helped you succeed. You know, I want this to be a community. I want this to be a place where we can all go, that we can share our advice, share our knowledge and tips, so that every one of us can see what each other's doing. It's like, oh my gosh, this person's doing this and this helped them. I should try that. So please leave comments below. Subscribe to this channel, hit that little bell button too so you get notified right away when I post. And I hope this provides so much value for you. Good luck on your journey. I hope this helps you get out of that living paycheck to paycheck and that you can get out of that stressful situation, because believe me, I know how much it sucks being in that position. It's terrible. Anyways, until then, we will see you later. Have a great day and let's crush it.